Now, South Africa is walking a diplomatic tightrope in the aftermath of that assassination of the Iranian General Qassim Soleimani. It says it's concerned about regional and international peace and is calling for restraint on both sides, and the ramifications are expected to be wide-reaching. On the economic front, economists are already warning that the escalation in tensions could have a devastating impact on oil prices, which affects local petrol prices. For more on this now, I am joined via Skype by political analyst Siphamandla Zondi. Siphamandla, thank you so much for joining us. It's early days following the assassination of Soleimani, and the ramifications are expected to be wide-reaching. From a South African point of view, the South African government very much sending out a statement emphasizing what it calls its principled view that conflict should be resolved through political dialogue rather than resorting to the use of force. Unfortunately, not something that President Donald Trump and his band of merry politicians agrees with.
Yes, it is a position that isn't actually a U.S. position. The U.S. position on the Middle East is not for negotiation. It's never been. Whether it's Democrats or it is Republican, it has never been. They've been looking for a victory. And I think it's a continuation of the look for a position of the United States as a superpower and cementing it. And to that end, it is willing to take the sides of any of the regional powers in the region, in this particular case, Saudi Arabia. And unfortunately, in the process, it simply just helps stimulate a cycle of violence that never helps anyone. So the United Nations is correct in saying that we need to de-escalate this. You need to find legal ways, especially because the airstrikes were not illegal. Secondly, you need to find peaceful ways to resolve the issue and not use the people of Baghdad, the people of Iran, Iraq, as a fighting ground to fight your geopolitical battles, because they have to lose a lot more than anyone in this game.
Now, President Donald Trump has come out saying that he was doing this on behalf of his allies, but there have been some world powers like France who have come out and criticized this move. Some saying that Soleimani has been a threat for the longest time, but that this was a scratch that didn't need to be scratched, or an itch that didn't need to be scratched right now, and that the relationship with Iran that Obama handed over to Trump had been of a reined-in Iran, and that the timing of this decision by Donald Trump has got more to do with local politics in the U.S. than it has with geopolitics.
That's true. But Donald Trump is actually correct. He's doing this on behalf of his allies. It's just that we may misinterpret what we mean by allies. The two allies that are very happy with this, and that probably would have been involved in coordinating this, is Saudi Arabia, and secondly is Israel. Both of them have looked for this for a long period of time, so he's delivered it, and I think it is fair to say he's delivered it. And remember that the Europe and the Quartet and others are no longer U.S. allies since the U.S. pulled out of that peace process and a deal, the nuclear deal that they had with Iran. So the allies is done for are very happy, and they've also expressed happiness, and they hope that the U.S. will stay in it. Sadly, it's a few isolated allies who are also implicated in other extrajudicial and illegal military interventions right through the region.
Now, where does this leave South Africa? Already, immediately after the news broke of Soleimani's assassination, there was an impact on oil prices, economically speaking and politically speaking. Where is South Africa's role in this, and what could the impact be on us?
Since the impact on the world is that it's going to affect economic stability, it would affect the price of oil, it would destabilize the economy, which is a very fragile global economy right now. It's very fragile. It hasn't recovered from the 2008-2009 global financial crisis. And since this is going to affect the economic situation in the rest of the region, it will, by implication, also affect South Africa, which has extensive trade relations with both sides, by the way, with both Iran and Saudi Arabia, for example, with Israel and the rest of the other countries in the region. So South Africa will be affected as this thing continues to deepen, because it looks like the cycle is going to deepen, because we expect Iran to retaliate in some ways. It may not be very open, state-led war, but it may actually happen through militia. More American soldiers will die, and Americans will try to defend themselves. The cycle will continue. It's guaranteed. The cycle, bad cycle, it's very bad for 2020, is going to deepen.
Now, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that the U.S. is committed to the de-escalation of tensions in that region following the killing of Soleimani. But some are saying that the assassination will do anything but. And we've seen on social media yesterday, World War III is now trending. Is that a bit alarmist at this stage?
Yes, remember, Pompeo is the guy who was widely quoted talking about how he was trained in lying. He was trained to lie as a CIA director, and he said lie were part of the strategic game. And I guess this is what he's doing right now. It's a complete lie that the U.S. is committed to de-escalation of this, because what it has done is to escalate a situation. It's now worse than it was 10 days ago. And there are tremors, there are now worries, and everybody is correcting. The UN has increased the surveillance about the situation. The countries in the region are a bit concerned and anxious. It is just bad. It is ill-advised. And I think, more than anything, it is consistent with Trump's decision to pull out of a nuclear deal and decide to identify Iran as a key enemy in that region and the only enemy in that region, and decided right from the beginning that he would deal with Iran. And I think that is what it is. Of course, he hopes also that it will boost his electoral power and help him mobilize the domestic U.S. who is generally very gullible for elections next year.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for that insight. Siphamandla Zondi, political analyst, joining us live via Skype. Fascinating.